So do you believe that the hero's journey is a part of our DNA?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And Joseph Campbell made that argument really persuasively, and the best evidence there ever is of that is that it's told, that story, precisely the same way, has never been told any differently, and it's told precisely the same way in societies around the world that have never heard of each other. You know, you go to like the middle of Papua New Guinea and you ask them what their great heroic tale is, and they're going to tell you Moses, Jason and the Argonauts, Luke Skywalker. Like the names of the heroes change and the settings change, but the path is so much exactly the same that it really is kind of the blueprint for enduring difficulty.
So it always begins with the call.
The call starts the thing, and then the refusal of the call. First comes the call, then comes, don't ask me to do this. Don't take this cup away from me.
Yes.
I'm not a hero. Don't look at me. I don't have the power. I'm just a kid. I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah.
The call won't leave you alone, though. And then you begin the journey.
Yeah.
And then comes the road of trials, which we all know because we've all been there.
It's so interesting because I'm a producer on the movie Selma, and you know, Martin Luther King, classic hero's journey. You get the call, doesn't really want.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask me to do it. I just want to have a normal life
else.
and have a church and be a nice preacher, but
I'm
can't
not your
refuse the
hero.
call. Yeah, I'm not your hero.
And Destiny's like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Or, and you know, I say you can answer the call or you can refuse the call. Really, he could have refused the call.
He could have refused the call.
He could have insistently said, it's not me. But he chose to answer it. And doesn't it make for a better story? You know?
Do you think the call is the same for men and women, that we all have that calling, that yearning to step out?
Yes, I absolutely
Whether
do.
you choose to hear it or not.
I absolutely do. I think that call comes in the middle of the night and the call begins, I mean, look, the word quest is question, right? Like every quest begins with a question. And the question's always the same question.
How do you know, though, that you're being called to something? What are the signs?
You get the question. Here's the question. What have I come here to do with my life? You telling me you never got that question? That's the question that begins every single quest. What have I come here to do with my life? There's no one who hasn't had that question come to them. That's the call.
Correct.
That's the call. It's like whispering
If you haven't,
in your ear.
you're just pretty
You're
numbed
really
out.
not paying attention.
You're really not paying
You're really
attention.
watching Breaking Bad at 4 in the morning and eating ice cream, and you're really not listening.
You're not listening, yeah, because
because
everybody's gotten in one form or
everybody.
another, yeah.
That
what have
is
I
the
come
call.
here to do with my life?
What have I come here to do with my life? Now, you can choose to ignore that question, or you can pursue it. And the pursuit is the beginning of the journey.
Now, isn't it true, though, I knew this for myself. When there came a time for me to leave Baltimore, and everybody around me was saying, no, there's no way you're going to succeed. I didn't hear it as much as I felt it. I felt that if I didn't move from where I was, for whatever I was being called to here, obviously, in Chicago, I felt if I didn't do it, that a part of me would die. I felt that I would just sort of like, not physically die, but that a part of me would sort of shrivel up in some way, and that I would not be emotionally, spiritually myself. Did you feel that?
Yes.
Yeah, you felt that too?
Yes, absolutely. And I had a friend who said to me, you stay on this path, you might actually die.
Yeah.
Like, you might get very sick. You might crash your car into a tree.
Yeah.
Like, you might get so depressed that, you know, like, you might literally die if you don't change.
Really?
And I
Well, that
heard
is, I think, what makes people sick. They just, parts of them just...
You just atrophy.
Atrophy,
you know?
yeah.
Like you die in pieces. And we've all seen people who have sort of shut down in pieces and died. And also that feeling that you kind of don't have a choice, right? Like, I had the same thing when I used to tell people when I was a teenager that I was going to be a writer. Like, nobody ever said, here's a line you never hear. Oh, yeah, that's where the big money is, kid. You know, like, follow that. That's an easy path. You'll get there. You know, like, no one ever in history said that. It didn't matter what they said because I had no choice. This is what I knew. This is what I came here to do. I don't have to succeed. Succeeding means answering the question, following the quest.
Yeah.
Wherever it ends. You know, the point is, like, did you try? You know, did you?
And a part of the
did you
call,
show up?
Yes, and a part of what you make so clear is that everybody gets called. You can choose to answer it or not. Once you do answer it, you're going to be faced with obstacles and challenges and people who look like friends or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think what I really try to communicate with people is that we're a little bit delusional in this society, the way we sell changing your life as if it's something like fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And what I say is, like, if you're doing this, if you're going to answer the call and you're going to transform and you're going to change,
really step up to who you're supposed to be in the world.
get ready.
Get ready. Yeah.
It is not a day at the beach. Like, expect to be challenged, expect to be hurt, expect to feel lost, expect to feel despair, expect to be double guessing yourself at every turn. Like, because that's what they don't call it the road of trials because it's like a joyride. They call it the road of, Joseph Campbell called it the road of trials because that's exactly what it is. But every single one of those obstacles, challenges, and temptations that you have to learn to manage will help you gain your talents and powers and shed your fears so that when it comes time for the climactic scene in every hero's journey, which is the battle, you're ready. Because every single one of those obstacles
prepared you for the battle. Yeah.
And then you lose your fear and then you become the hero.
What was your actual battle? So we know the leaving, the going out, the eating, the praying. What was the real battle?
The real battle for me was my own self-abuse, was to learn how to drop the knife that I was holding to my own throat so that I was never good enough. I was never, I couldn't let go of my failures. I couldn't let go of my shame. I couldn't let go of anything wrong I had ever done. I had an inventory that was so long, and that happened in India. I remember it very well because I was in 4 months of meditation, and that was my battle, was the 4 months in that meditation cave, alone, with no distraction, no friends, nothing except me and it. And the it was the anger, the sadness, the sorrow, the shame, the pain. And we were in there.
Yeah.
My head, like most of our heads, is a neighborhood you don't want to walk around alone in at night.
That's right.
It's not nice in there. And when you're forced to be there, and I just remember the day that this was my victory in my battle. All my demons, all my monsters that I'd been carrying around forever, the light came through and I realized, they're not demons, they're not monsters, they're not dragons. I've been making them more grandiose than they are. They're just the orphaned parts of me. They're just the fearfulest, most young, terrified parts of me. They are scared to death. And they are throwing temper tantrums because of their fear. And now I have to tell them that it's going to be okay. And they will all go to sleep. I am the mother of all of these parts of me. And I remember just sort of in my mind ascending above them all and just saying, I love you, fear, and now you go to sleep. I love you, anger. You're part of me. Go to sleep. It's fine. I'm in charge now. I love you, shame. Even you. Come into my heart. Go to sleep. You're safe. I love you. I'm not leaving you. I can't. You're part of me. You're part of the family. You're never going to be away from me. I love you, failure. Come into my heart. Rest. You're so tired. You're so scared. You're just children. You don't know how the world works. I love all of you. I have space for all of you. And together, we're just going to go forward now. But mommy's driving now. And mommy is the part of me who can embrace everything that I am in peace.
Well, I think so many people think like, oh, if you wrote that book and you conquered your own dark night of the soul where the hero finds he's lost and questions everything. What was your dark night?
Oh God, I had so many of them. I had a string of them.
Sitting when you quieted all the fears, was that a dark night?
What I did, I had I think my reckoning was that I went away for 10 days once during that time to be in absolute silence for 10 days. No books, no writing, just went to this island, 10 days of silence. And I think I wept out 10 lifetimes of sorrow. I would just walk around this island sobbing, praying, talking, and just being like, and I remember feeling like it was a peace summit in a way. I was like, all you guys, these are the battling demons. We're all gonna have to figure out how to work together here because we can't be like this. Like, we're gonna have to figure out how to integrate this thing called a self.
What did you learn about yourself?
That any voice that you have that attacks you in any way is not your highest self. And I think the trick that we fall into sometimes is that I feel like we have these 3 layers of self. We've got little scared kid, we've got older sister perfectionist judge, who we think is the higher self, right? So little scared kid is like, I want all that ice cream because I need it because I'm hungry and I'm scared. Older sister scared judge says, you idiot, you know, like, that's
You're always eating ice cream,
like,
yeah.
when are you going to stop doing this to yourself? When are you going to like, and you think that's
Your higher
your
self.
higher self because it knows more, because clearly it's right in a way. Like, you can't keep abusing yourself like this. But if it's speaking to you in that tone, I can guarantee you that is not the voice of God, and that is not your channel to God, because it doesn't come in that tone. If it's doing any of this, it's just a judge inside you, but it is not grace. Because you'll know grace when you hear it, because grace says, I don't care what you do. You're splendid and magnificent, and I'm here, and I'm right beside you, and we're gonna get through this. That is the only thing grace ever says. It never says you screwed up. It never says you gotta do better. Like, grace never says that. You say that.
Yes, that's right.
You know, grace just says, love, come, embrace, safe, us, peace. You'll know it when you hear it.
Is that what you call God, Grace?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's it. You know, it's, I said this to you before, God is, the simplest definition I've ever is whatever lifts your face out of the dirt. Because we do spend a lot of our lives kind of like in the mud, you know? And anything that lifts that and ascends you and gently comes and just says, rise, rise, rise. That's grace calling.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oprah, for everything and all the light that you bring to us all.